I'll go first if that's okay. I don't really have a presentation of any kind. I have been a TEI person for a long, long time now. I've been on the TEI Council, I've worked on the TEI guidelines, I've edited the TEI journal. Most of my work with TEI has been generating online editions of historical and literary texts with a workflow that's based mainly on XSLT and run by Ant. So all XML all the way. We occasionally need to generate print versions of various things. And we started doing this with XSLFO and the ZEP processor back in the early, about 2004, 2005. And for a recent project called Lendo, Linked Early Modern Drama Online, which is generating a large collection of little known early modern plays, as well as commonly known ones. We are trying to arrange a series of publications through University Press. And I wanted to make the build process available to anybody without the need for commercial software. So I, last year, basically taught myself basic tech, and I've been using the Zelotech processor, so XSLFO into tech and the Zelotech processor to generate books for a publisher that we're negotiating with now. I can share a link to one of those books if that would be interesting in its current state. I can't hear you, Jonathan.
Please put it in the chat.
Yes, yes. So for me, it was quite a baptism of fire, because a critical edition of an early modern drama has all sorts of components like line numbering and apparatus that cause layout problems. And I'm most interested to see people who've done a lot more of this and how they've managed to work around issues like the fact that I seem to need to run Zelotech 6 times to get all the footnotes to set themselves up properly. And I don't know any way of calculating when it's finished doing an optimal job. So I could presumably run it many more times and get slightly better results. So most of my questions will be beginner questions. And I'm looking forward to seeing what other people have done.
Excellent. Thank you very much for Martin. Thank you very much for that, Martin. I thought you did very well. So Nicholas next, if you're ready.
Thank you, Jonathan. Yeah, well, as we talked before, I've been working with digital humanities and using TEI for some 6 years, more or less. And I have several projects editing and typesetting using TEI and XSLT transformations to produce well, current day editions of medieval works, philosophy, theology, and also literature. The project I mentioned, I talked about in the text user group conference, concerns an edition and translation of a late medieval work called Solomon and Marcolphus. The idea was to produce an annotated translation into Spanish initially, which is my main language, digitally born, or born digitally. So it was written from the start. It was written using TEI. TEI is great to work with texts, to express intricate relations between the texts, and I designed schemas and ODDs for all my documents. And I created transformations in XSLT to produce both an HTML, XHTML output for web view, and another set of templates to transformations to produce a Lua LaTeX output to produce a print-ready PDF. Moving along those two worlds, XHTML and Lua LaTeX or LaTeX has proven a little bit difficult. I've been having some problems as lately, for instance, with the endnotes, because well, as you probably know, it's quite easy to produce to typeset high quality endnotes in LaTeX. There are several packages or the built-in defaults of PDF LaTeX or Lua LaTeX. But endnotes work a little bit different in HTML or the production of endnotes or notes of some kind, hypertext notes. So I had to change everything in my current workflow. Originally the endnotes were attached to the paragraphs in the same document. That worked great with LaTeX, but I had trouble producing an HTML output that would work appropriately. So I decided to include all notes in a separate XML file. And now the trouble I've been having is with the footnotes and the anchors and the reference in LaTeX. So if you could give me a hand in that, any of you, it would be great. I would really appreciate it. Thank you.
Can I ask you a question, Nicholas? Sometimes you have a problem, which is the carpet fits every corner of the room, but it won't fit the room. Does that describe your experience with the endnotes? That you can make any part of it work, but you can't make all of it work at the same time?
Well, it was working in LaTeX, but it wasn't working in HTML, and now it's working in HTML, but it's not working in LaTeX. So okay. That's my conundrum now.
So it's like the carpet, where you can make it match at any point you want, but you can't make it match everywhere.
Yeah, that's correct, Jonathan.
Yeah, we mathematicians study this thing. We call it homology.